All right, it all starts Thursday night football. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals.
The old man bowl.
Couple 40-year-olds battling it out here.
The Twitter account, Shooter McGavin, the character from Happy Gilmore. It's not the same person, right? The guy that runs that account is not the actual actor that does Shooter McGavin.
I don't believe so.
Anyway, the Twitter account, Shooter McGavin, is just spending all week tweeting like old man things and like this is Aaron Rodgers versus Joe Flacco on Thursday night.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty funny.
It's good. We should go through and rank those tonight as part of the live stream.
We could
go
do that.
through them on the live stream. We will have a live stream for members only. Again, for members, just a little extra, a little bonus content, including tonight. We'll have a watch along as we are all watching on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
We also have multiple open invitations out to all of our friends,
all of which
colleagues,
ignored.
Yes, colleagues who are coming into town. Andrew Whitworth, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ross Tucker. Open invitations to all of them to stop by the studio, record a little something, say hello. No one's going to show up, I'm sure. We're like Josh Rosen at his college birthday party.
Except Justin Pugh later.
Justin Pugh will be here. Yeah. So like 1 for 4 on former NFL players. Mm-hmm. What are we looking for in this one, Sam?
Well, the old man bowl. I guess I'm fascinated whether Joe Flacco had a pretty clean game last week and did. Like he understands the assignment, which is just put the ball in the air in the general direction of Jamar Chase, and good things will tend to happen. So that combination is an upgrade over what Jake Browning was producing for the Bengals. Can he do that twice, though? I mean, this was a guy who was, third in the NFL in interceptions heading into that game, despite, having been benched already. It's not exactly his MO to have perfectly clean games every single time. I don't think that pass late in the game, kind of lofted thing down the sideline towards Valentine ended up as a turnover-worthy play, but it could have been. I mean, it was borderline in that general direction. So this is the type of defense that can cause those problems, like the Steelers' pass rush, Cincinnati's offensive line. This is the nightmare matchup that you're looking at on paper and being like, Flacco's not a good fit for the current woes that Cincinnati is experiencing, and yet last week it was okay.
I mean, look, the Green Bay pass rush should have been fierce for Flacco, but he has adjusted his game to play like an old man. Like the same thing we're saying Aaron Rodgers is doing, the same thing Brady and Breeze did when they were in their 40s, getting rid of the ball very quickly. And that's the advantage you have when you've seen everything and know where to go with the ball. Rodgers is doing a great job of that, and I thought Flacco did a nice job of that. Now, look, he averaged like almost less than 5 yards per attempt on 40-something attempts last week. That's not going to cut it. But as far as, I don't know if we're going to see the 6-sack game where he's just, constantly under heat. He's at least going to get the ball out and let those receivers make plays. And the Steelers' defense is starting to play like we had thought they could play, forcing turnovers, creating havoc. Nick Herbig has been unblockable off the edge. T.J. Watt on the other side. They have been outstanding. Derek Harmon on the interior. So they've got dudes up front that can win, so you have to get rid of the ball quickly. And it's going to be interesting because Pittsburgh was putting a lot of heat on Dylan Gabriel last week and then compressing the field like, all right, Brooke, get the ball down the field. Like they're just going to sit on these underneath routes. I don't think you could fully do that with Flacco. He'll throw the ball outside the numbers. So if you have one-on-one on the outside, he will give Higgins and Chase some opportunity. So if the Bengals are going to pull the upset, and it feels like a challenge here,
sure.
Steelers, they've only got one loss. Bengals haven't won in weeks. But if they're going to pull the upset in Cincinnati, it's going to be some big plays on the perimeter and Flacco giving those guys opportunities to make plays.
Yeah, and it's the clean game as well. Like, honestly, that might be the more important part of that. I think the thing that Flacco's done over the last several years in this sort of twilight Indian summer part of his career is he's put up a lot of yardage. Like, he can put the ball in the air, give guys a chance. It often comes with a cost that he's also going to just randomly float the ball into nowhere and get picked off. That's the important part. I think that's the more important aspect of last week was the reason that ended up as a solid performance was not the production overall. It was the fact that he had a clean game. He didn't turn it over. He didn't put it in massive harm. There was one play that was floated and was iffy, but even that got away with. If he has that kind of game, well, now you've got a shot. If he has a game where even if they put up a lot of yards, Chase goes nuts, if he turns the ball over twice, it's still not going to work.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. Other side, I think you're starting to see, last couple weeks, been very impressed, or last 2 games, very impressed with the Steelers' offense against 2 fierce pass rushes with the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. Did you enjoy the discourse? Did you get involved in any of the annual discourse?
The Garrett versus Watt PFF great stuff. No, I just kind of kicked up my feet and watched it happen. It was fun.
It's so much better not having to jump in. I get
texting,
pulled in. I get urged every now and then.
I was texting Trevor yesterday, and I was like, it's kind of fun just sitting on the sideline with these ones. What I was saying is, I think I finally modified my Twitter algorithm enough by blocking and muting enough people. I didn't even get tagged in it.
Yeah.
Normally we get dragged into those things just because we were at PFF for so long.
Right.
Anytime there's a thing, somebody's tagging you, going, look at this idiocy. I didn't even nobody brought it to my attention. I mean, it was there, but nobody specifically threw it in my face and was like, look at this. So I think I've blocked or muted enough people.
Just curious. So Rodgers and the Steelers have been getting rid of the ball lightning quick. One of the fastest times, the only guy throwing the ball quicker is Dylan Gabriel, who's, firing the ball 5 yards over the middle of the field every single time. So Rodgers getting rid of the ball quickly. I think that is mitigating their pass protection issues from earlier in the season, like the way they're attacking with DK Metcalf down the field. One little matchup to keep an eye on. My guy, DJ Turner, for the Bengals defense. Cornerback playing really well, leading all defensive backs in pass breakups, forced incompletions, and in man coverage, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Opponents are just 3 for 11 for 39 yards, 34.3 passer rating. And so DJ Turner shadowed Jamison Williams against Detroit. So just keep an eye on him. It's not a great size matchup for him if he's going up against DK Metcalf.
Right.
But last year, too, before he got hurt, remember he had the 3-pass breakup game against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football, including some big plays against Quentin Johnston. So he could play up. I'm interested in that because I think if you take away some of the DK plays and some of the vertical plays that they've started giving him, I think you might be able to limit the Steelers' offense a bit.
Yeah, what I think is kind of interesting about the Steelers' offense the last couple of weeks is you've gone up against 2 good defenses, but 2 polar opposites in terms of how they go about things. Flores and the Vikings are all about misdirection and subterfuge, smoke and mirrors. Meanwhile, the Browns are all about, we were one of the simpler defenses in the NFL in terms of what you see is what you get. We just rely on out-executing you, and we're really good at that. And so what you saw from the Steelers is the offense changed fairly dramatically week to week. They went against the Vikings. They had this hyper-fast average time to throw. It was 2.0 seconds, 2.04 or something like that. And the ball came out crazy shallow. It was all this group of almost proto-RPO plays, old school package plays where Rodgers went, we're kind of calling runs, but be aware, if I like to look, I'm just going to throw you the ball. And then against Cleveland, you saw a lot more, we know it's man coverage. We like what we see. We're not confused. I don't need to get rid of the ball that fast as long as I dedicate 3 people to blocking Myles Garrett. And you saw him push the ball down the field a lot more. So his average depth of target was a lot longer. He held onto the ball a bit longer. It's not like it was slow or anything, but it was 2.5 seconds, which is middle of the pack, normal. And they threw the ball down the field. Now, one of them was wildly underthrown, but you saw them, so you've sort of seen this offense be willing to adapt fairly radically depending on the defense that they're facing. And Rodgers play either the most dink and dunk type of game imaginable versus actually he's going to take some shots.
The Rodgers underthrown deep ball was one of those in narrative world when you're looking at a 40-year-old quarterback.
That's the first time where you look at him and go, normally the narrative has been, okay, he might not be able to move around very much, but at least he's still got the arm to get it everywhere. That was the first time where it's ooh, he didn't have the arm to get that there.
That's also one of those, I always have sympathy, when you're playing, you're outdoors, you're in Pittsburgh, you just never, there's winds, that's where I go back to the dome thing versus outdoors. It is, every now and again, it's difficult to get the ball down the field, throw the ball accurately.
And it was the sort of classic, flick of the wrist Rodgers throw. Now, he's always done that, right? Yeah. So he used to be able to get the flick of the wrist and get it 55 yards. Now, the flick of the wrist didn't get it there. But it isn't like he put everything into that throw. It's not like he launched himself Ryan Fitzpatrick style into that throw and still only got it 50 yards. This was at least he didn't have his feet under him. It was flicking his wrist and it didn't get there. Okay, maybe now you do have to put everything into those throws.
So, yeah, my point on that one was that's the one where the shouty shows, the people who are looking for the 40-year-old cliff, like you saw some of those throws where the ball died from Drew Brees late in his career. You saw some of those passes, obviously, in the Peyton Manning year where he was banged up and the ball's fluttering all over the place. And it's like we've got this history of old man has no velocity anymore. But in that same game, Rodgers came back and he had that little scramble shovel pass thing. He had the little throwback in the red zone to Hayward for a touchdown. Like he has not lost it, I don't think, arm talent wise. Maybe outside of a couple throws here and there. So, I think it'll be a good game. I think Pittsburgh has a huge opportunity here to once again separate themselves in the AFC North. You kept citing the fact that they're slight favorites now to win at 4-1. The next closest team. It's a battle of the first top two teams in the AFC North tonight, by the way. Steelers at 4-1, Bengals at 2-4.
Last thing, the Bengals are making a change at linebacker. Barrett Carter is coming in to start, and Logan Wilson is being benched effectively. I'm curious to see because the Steelers run less 11 personnel than anybody else in the NFL. Effectively, they're going to run a bunch of 2 backs, 2 tight end sets. So you're going to see 3 linebackers on the field the whole time. Like we might not notice anything other than one of these guys is playing more than they normally do.
The other one to keep an eye on, Darnell Washington being unlocked here in the Aaron Rodgers offense. The 260-pound. They were debating. JJ,
I need to know what he weighs.
They were debating what his weight was. They were even saying, look, they've had that conversation in Pittsburgh about him moving to offensive line somewhere down the road.
He looks bigger than Broderick Jones when he lines up next to him as the chip tight end. But then when they get him loose into the open field, I mean, he's effectively serving the same role as Mercedes Lewis used to. And yet he looks 30 pounds bigger than Mercedes Lewis. He looks huge.
He does. So anyway, should be a fun game. Another challenging one, I think, for the Bengals offensive line. And as much as I'm saying, hey, Flacco can get rid of the ball and everything, I think Pittsburgh might have too much up front. It's 5.5 is the spread, over under 43.5 per FanDuel. Where are you going to go with this one?
I'm picking the Steelers to both win and cover.
I will as well. Short week for both of the 40-year-olds. Harry's also going to take Pittsburgh because we're tied, and we'll both pick the same thing and stay tied after.
By the way, part of the Mina show involved picks, and there's zero chance that I remember what I said yesterday when I came to the game. So if you're looking, all I'm saying is if you watch both these shows, do not expect those picks to match or cross-reference because I don't even remember what I said. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?